while we are talking about the white paper, and with breaking it down, we are also speaking about the black paper that has been released by the Congress, and the key important points that have been made by the Congress against the BJP is: number 1, unemployment; number 2, the farmers' plight; number 3, the price rise and inflation; number 4, the Adani BJP collusion for crony capitalism. There have been several others, but these, as I went through the report, have been the big highlights of this report that has been tabled. I'm going to start my conversation with Vineet Goenka. And Vineet, quickly, when we are talking about inflation, when we are talking about the GDP of the country, when we are talking about providing employment to the nation, the figures that have been provided by the Congress versus the figures that have been provided by the BJP. And I have discussed this earlier as well. I'm going to reiterate it again. The fact that the GDP growth rate between 2004 and 2014 was at a robust 8%, as compared to the GDP that is at 7%, it's 6.8 and it's going to be 7% very soon. We are talking about how the employment has increased to up to 4%, four times, which is 400% under the BJP rule. Especially the figures that I have put out just a while ago, I think in 2020 is when we saw the massive increase of over 8%. It has again risen in 2023 to 7.3%, and in 2024, up until January 2024, it is again at about 8%. Keeping in mind the comparisons in the 2004 to 2014 era, this period, the inflation continues to be at a constant over 5%, minus 0.10, 0.20 points here and there. So, when BJP says that we have curtailed inflation and we have increased the GDP rate in our country, and we are the harbingers of growth in the country, of progress in the country, of welfare in the country, how do you then put forth your argument against Congress saying that 8% was the GDP of the country, 8% was the GDP rate of the country in the 2004-2014 period?
Megha ji, Ram Ram to you, Ram Ram to all my co-panelists and all the viewers who are watching me right now. Thank you for asking this question, and it helps me a lot. In the last 10 years, we have seen the number of airports moving from 74 to 148 and plus. We also have seen that the number of ports and the port efficiency has gone up from 17% to 32%. We also have seen that Vande Mataram train was introduced. The number of trains have increased. The number of kilometers of railway has increased. The number of kilometers of railway which have been unique gauged has increased. The number of kilometers of railway which has been electrified has increased. We also have seen that thousands of kilometers of road has been an unprecedented road building has been done. We also have seen that there are more than 10 crore toilets been built, more than 10 crore gas been supplied. Now, Megha ji, I am sure you will admit that all this building of infrastructure is done by hands and laborers and workers and staff. They have to be Indians. They cannot be Italian. Now, if they have been employed to build the 10 crore toilets, naturally there will be an employment. Now, this cannot happen from, the maternal grandfather's country of Mr. Gandhi. So they have to understand that there was employment required to even produce the cement required for the road. It was required for the iron to be produced, to be used in the infrastructure. So that he has to understand. Number 3 point, I'd like to tell you one more thing here. The country moved from position 11 to 5, fragile 5 to top 5 economics. It does not move without economical activities been happening. Number 3, the number of EPA for registration in the last 10 years has increased beyond comparable to any decade of the independent India. You can check the records yourself. Now, when does a person file an EPFO claim, or when does he register himself as EPFO? When he gets a job in formal economy. This cannot be done just because you have love for the Prime Minister. Now, the number of taxpayer, the collected has increased almost double. Now you don't pay income tax just because you love the prime minister. You pay it only when you're eligible to pay the tax. Now that clearly shows a common man like me, a not so more educated like me, to understand that there has been employment, there has been economical activity. Finally, one thing I'll tell you. Congress has to come something which is substantial. It's a company. It's a party made by colonial masters for their own benefits, not by some Indian. They have been dividing India. Earlier, they divided India between India and Pakistan. Then they tried to divide Hindus. Then they divide the country on gender. They tried to punch holes in the progress. I don't know why. Rather, they should have come out and said what they will do in the next 10 years. That would have been better. So, if I would have been their advisor,
But if the BJP is attacking the Congress on a number of matters, obviously it is going to be a natural response for the Congress to counter-attack you. And my only point again being that a question that I'm asking is about, again, the comparisons. If the BJP is going to draw comparisons of 2014 until 2024, to 2004 and 2014, something similar it's bound to happen from the Congress's side as well, and BJP needs to be prepared to take on those accusations and charges that are made by the opposition.
Good, Megha, you brought this up. They will have to tell the country what happened in 2006 in Mumbai, what happened in Mumbai in 2008, in 2006. The workers and the laborers and the people living in Mumbai, when they were traveling by train, they were butchered by serial bomb blasts. Bomb blast was a day-to-day affair those days. Then in 2008, the entire country was taken on ransom. That was a period when there was lawlessness, there was no security, no safety. Whereas what we have seen the last 10 years is retaliation for any instigation which has been done. We saw surgical strike, we saw air strike. The country is secured. Number three, we saw that they took almost around 40-45 years to give the polio vaccine. Whereas in the crisis, when the entire world was suffering, the vaccine for COVID came out, produced. Not only all the Indians got it, but also been given outside as complimentary gift or sometimes been exported with commercial interest. So the country has not only done in economics, but also done in strategic process, but also done in health. The number of aims which have been built and now are operating.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you give all those development parameters. Okay, point taken. So Savio, coming back to you. Yes, coming back to you, and an important factor that has again been touched by the Congress in the black paper, and this is about ED, SEBI, CBI being used as tools by the government of India to attack the oppositions, governors who are of the BJP in opposition states not allowing for democracy to function, interfering in the state affairs. There has, of course, like I said, the Adani-Modi crony capitalism that they have highlighted, they have attacked BJP with, and of course the OBCs, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe target that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has become at the hands of Rahul Gandhi and the Congress.
Thank you for bringing this once again.
Let Savio answer that, and I'll come back to you.
Yes. I thought it was for me. Savio, please.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
No, so Megha, I agree with my panelist earlier. One of the yardsticks to talk about employment and to talk about the way a government functions is to look at certain key critical data which really tells you where a country is moving. Now, this is not a government data like the white paper, but let me share it with you. In 2023, the United Nations Development Program came out with a report called the Global Multidimensional Poverty Index. Okay? As for that report, over the last 10 years, 415 million people in India who were living below the poverty line has moved out of poverty. Now, how is that happening? Unless there is a certain assertive effort of the government to work towards poverty elevation. And how does poverty elevation happen? When you give jobs, when you give them economic activity, when you make money easily available to them, to the banking systems, when you have government schemes that allow for them to go ahead and become entrepreneurs, when you get them to have connectivity to infrastructure.
Yeah, but that's what I'm just going to quote one figure, because that's the figure that has been shared by by the Congress in the paper, and it talks about rampant unemployment. Total unemployment was 1 crore in 2012. It rose to about 4 crore by 2022. And I was just
But
marking
Megha,
those
that's
figures
what
of CMIE.
one second,
And
Megha,
that has
may I
been,
correct you?
I raise a point
May I
of
correct you?
unemployment particularly because this has been the repeated
May I
target
correct
of the
the
Congress
notion?
against the BJP.
Megha, may I please correct the notion? In most cases, people who refer to employment are referring to government jobs. And that is seem to be Congress's main yardstick of discussions.
No, there
or
are
debates.
NSSO reports and there are CMIE reports as well who have done their surveys and done their homework, and there are year on year comparisons.
Megha, if
Yes.
you allow me to counter, can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Thank you. You when you're comparing the data that is there, you have government jobs that are there, you have job creations that are there. There is data available. It's the best part about this government is that you get most of the data available on their websites. Updated data, right up till December 31st, 2023. So the point I'm trying to make is the country needs to understand one very important data point as far as job creation is concerned. We look at job creation primarily through the eyes of the people working within the governments or the government jobs that have been dished out by government sector agencies or the departments. But that is just one aspect of the job creation in the Indian market. The largest segment of job creation is what the government is a facilitator to, not a creator. The government's job is to facilitate the ability for jobs to be created in a country. And that's exactly what Prime Minister Narendra Modi is doing. Can you please tell me what is been the growth of MSMEs in the last 10 years? Let me give you a statistic that not many people talk about. During 2006 and 2013, the startups, if I could tell you again, was only 350. What are the startups right now? 1,70,257 and growing. The MSMEs have grown phenomenally.
Okay.
The government through its various schemes. So why are we always looking at what the opposition is saying? The opposition is devoid
I'm looking at both sides. I'm looking at both sides and trying to also fairly assess in terms of the data that has been provided in the white paper by the government, the points that may have been skipped by the government, which has also been pointed by the opposition, by the Congress, that why is not there data provided by the government, comparison figures that have been provided by the government when it comes to employment particularly. Okay, all right. Himanshu, but also on the telecast
share that data to you. If you can ask them to go onto the website, it's available. Government creates that again. If you're asking what are the jobs created by the government, it's available on the website.
And can we reduce it to a statistic for everybody to understand it better? Because when we are talking about giving mudra loans, when we are talking about creating unicorns and startups, when we are talking about giving employment opportunities by way of infrastructure reform and development that takes place, when we are talking about giving entrepreneurial opportunities to women, when we are talking about ASHA workers, when we are talking about Nikshay Mitras, this all is good when we hear about these schemes, when we are told that there is implementation that is happening. But do we have figures to justify what we are saying over here? Okay, Himanshu, quickly getting you also on board and understanding from you, what do you understand from the white paper that has been released, but more importantly, the black paper that has been released, particularly about, we were speaking about unemployment. I now want to highlight about this statistic that has been provided by the Congress under the price rise tag, where comparison has been made from 2014 to 2024. The LPG price rise has an increase of 120%, petrol has risen 37%, diesel at 64%, mustard oil at 59%, atta at 59%, milk at 71%.
Yes, what I understand, Megha, from all these things is elections are very near. That's number one. For 30 years, I've been doing journalism. So I smell that. It's white paper versus black paper. It's given to 140 crore people. Believe what you want to believe and come up with the results. See, point by point discussion we do, there are so many things to talk on both sides. There are so many things to talk on both sides. I would not say that, महंगाई nahi maar rahi. Everybody is hit by that. Nobody says no about that. But at the same time, you have to see the developments. And our is a self-sustaining development. When I say self-sustaining, it is our own creation also, and we have to sustain it. And so we have to pay it. It's as simple as that. Today I go on a national highway, I have to pay my toll at two places if I want to keep my highways intact and proper. That's my duty as a citizen. So if that has increased, it's just an example what I'm giving you. If that has increased the cost of living, be it, no problem. But at the same time, I must also remember that when there were, PSU's earning, total PSU's earning was 1.25 lakh crores. That has gone up. The net worth has gone up. Now it's 2.5 lakh crores. The net worth, which was 9.5 lakh crores, has gone up to 17 lakh crores. So the progressive things have to be seen. And people have to be told in a no uncertain term. See, it's very easy to say, Adani and Modi are doing this. It's very easy to say petrol prices have crossed 100 rupees. But what has led to that? And people seem to forget, everybody seems to forget that black paper, white paper, all right. In white paper, you have a 10 years report card and a blueprint or a roadmap for coming 5 years and coming 1,000 years. What is there in black paper? Black paper says, this is what is not done. This is what people have suffered. Where is the roadmap? What is their plan? Has anyone come up with that? See,
Okay. That's another point of conversation that we see, that does the opposition, does the Congress have a clear-cut plan for the development, for the prosperity of the nation if they come to power? But I'll particularly focus on the black paper that has been released, and I will agree that it has more text than it has figures. It is more verbose in terms of describing what they feel is national security compromised, talking about giving in to the Chinese aggression, talking about how India's borders on the east, on the northeast are at this point of time under peril, and the government has not been able to actually protect its sovereignty against the Chinese. It has also spoken about how the CBI and Enforcement Directorate are being used as tools. I already mentioned that, atrocities against women, rape cases against scheduled caste, scheduled tribes women. I already spoke about the Adani-Modi cohesion that the opposition continues to point again and again. Employment is something it has been talking about. It has also been talking about the overall picture and the kind of sentiment that is in the country against the BJP is what its charge is. So Himanshu, how do we at this time look at these figures being completely unbiased? Neither to the biased neither to the BJP nor to the Congress, and for a common person who's actually seeing out this entire fiasco, this entire play out that is being witnessed. I don't know. Do we look at it as a drama? Because obviously there are political investments being made by both the parties over here. And what is the takeaway of the common person?
A common person always feels deprived. I'll tell you very, very frankly, be any party in the power. Be any party in the power. Someone has looted them for 70 years. Now they think, this 10 years, someone might loot me. So he's always suspicious. But what he believes in is what he sees. See, there is a problem there. You believe what you see and what you feel, what you experience. And here, this present government, BJP government, has done certain things which has instilled the confidence of theirs in the minds of people. This is the way I look at it. People are not bothered about this, big figures. No. For them, what is important basically is, can he live safely? Number one. Can he have his daily work done properly? Will he get a better job? Will his son get a better job? Will he be in a proper condition or not? Sorry. These are the things, which matter for him. And that's key. And more than everything else, the mindset. When a common man feels that he is a proud Bharatiya, be it Congress government, be it BJP government, doesn't matter for him. And which Congress seems to forgetting that, They don't understand that. They don't understand the self-pride. The problem there is, basically, they have been used to, this, what we call it as a dynastic politics. And, they have made us so big a mental slaves of their regime that, it took 5-7 years for people to come out. They could not believe that 370 could be abolished. They could not believe the penal codes could be changed. They could not believe that the Ram Mandir can be made. But when they see that in front of them, everything else becomes very, very petty. And that's the way I look at it, because a common man looks at it that way.
Okay, all right. I'm out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast. I'm going to further discuss about this white paper, black paper war and what are going to be the impact of it for the elections that are coming up in just a few months' time.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.